Welcome to Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El Rome.
And I'm Erin Viner.
In our top story, the administration of former President Barack Obama is alleged to have allowed Hezbollah operatives to traffic narcotics and launder money in the United States in order to secure the nuclear agreement with Iran. A report published in Politico magazine states that the Obama White House delayed, hindered, and rejected requests made by the Drug Enforcement Agency to investigate a large drug trafficking operation which enabled Hezbollah to evolve into a major global security threat, bankrolling terrorist and military operations. The report detailed the 8-year investigation, codenamed Project Cassandra, which tracked cocaine shipments, dirty money, and Hezbollah operatives with ties to Iran. A Defense Department employee who worked on Project Cassandra said that senior officials in the Obama administration obstructed efforts to arrest top Hezbollah operatives, including the main weapons supplier to Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad. The document also cites written testimony given to the House Foreign Affairs Committee last year by a Treasury agent. She stated that under the Obama administration, Hezbollah-related investigations were tamped down for fear of rocking the boat with Iran and jeopardizing the nuclear deal.
The United States exercised its veto after the United Nations Security Council unanimously voted to reject President Donald Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. The resolution, proposed by Egypt, attempted to force the United States to rescind President Trump's declaration. It also called on all member states not to move their embassies to Jerusalem. The United States ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, said that the resolution is an insult that will not be forgotten. Haley also expressed her regret that the Obama administration did not veto anti-Israel resolutions, allowing them to pass in the United Nations. She said that the anti-settlement resolution that passed last year is a stain on America's conscience.
President Trump has released his strategy for improving the United States' domestic and international position. The president stressed that America will begin to prioritize domestic issues over foreign ones. His plan focuses on 4 main points: protecting the American homeland, promoting American prosperity, demonstrating peace through strength, and advancing America's influence throughout the world. He also explained the shift in policy regarding Israel, saying that the Jewish state is not to blame for the unrest in the Middle East. Trump clarified that the threats from radical jihadist terrorist organizations and the danger posed by Iran has created the realization that Israel is not the cause of the region's problems.
The Trump administration has taken another bold stand with the Jewish state. Just weeks after recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, the White House stated that the Western Wall will always belong to Israel. This announcement comes at a critical time when UNESCO and other world bodies have adopted the Arabs' revisionist history and have even called the most sacred place in Judaism a Muslim holy site. This despite biblical and archaeological evidence proving the Jewish people's connection to the Temple Mount for thousands of years preceding the religion of Islam and the Muslim invasion of the Holy City.
The United States has presented undeniable evidence that Iran is arming Houthi rebels in Yemen. Nikki Haley, the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, explained that by supplying weapons to Islamic extremists, Tehran is violating international law. Haley displayed fragments of a missile which was recently fired at Saudi Arabia from Yemen. The rocket bears markings which she said prove that it was made in the hardline Islamic Republic. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon, responded to Haley's presentation, saying the threat of Iranian missiles stretches from the Persian Gulf through Yemen, Syria, and all the way to Lebanon and the Gaza Strip.
The Jewish state has offered refugee status to an Iranian expat who faced deportation to the Islamic Republic from Turkey. Nida Amin writes a Persian language blog, which is often critical of the Iranian regime. She fled her home in 2014 and has been living in Turkey. Amin applied for refuge in several countries, including Israel, where her request was immediately approved. Israel's Interior Minister said this journalist's life is in real danger, and given the clear humanitarian circumstances, I authorize her entry without delay.
Dozens of rockets have been fired into Israel by terrorists in Gaza. Residents of towns in southern Israel say they must always be within running distance of bomb shelters as the relentless rocket fire can come at any moment. One of the missiles launched by terrorists malfunctioned and hit a public school in Gaza, causing damage to several classrooms. Another rocket misfired and hit the home of a Hamas leader. In an appeal to the residents of Gaza, the IDF released a statement in Arabic saying, "The terrorists have proven what Israel has repeatedly said. They are destroying their children's future with their own hands."
The Iraqi contestant for the Miss Universe pageant says that she's been threatened for posing with Miss Israel. Sarah Adan and her family were reportedly forced to flee Iraq after angry Muslims threatened them for posting a picture of Sarah with the Israeli contestant, Adar Gandelsman. Adan says that the photograph was an expression of her desire for peace and not a political statement, but the backlash online was vicious, and that her family and she fear for their lives. Miss Iraq has kept in touch with Miss Israel, who has appealed to the online community to applaud the beauty queen for her bravery.
An Israeli medical company has created a device which allows patients suffering from diabetes to check their blood sugar without having to prick their fingers. This cutting-edge technology, created by Sinoga Medical Limited, uses a camera to diagnose glucose levels. The meter measures the changing colors of the user's finger to determine blood sugar levels. The Sinoga device is currently being tested in 2 separate clinical trials in Germany with excellent results. According to the world's leading diabetes specialist, it is performing with a surprising level of accuracy.
Turkish police arrested several Antiquities thieves attempting to illegally sell a 700-year-old Torah manuscript. The ancient Jewish text was handwritten on gazelle leather and was reportedly being sold on the black market for nearly $2 million. The codex was turned over to the Fethi Museum in Istanbul for examination.
As a gesture of goodwill, the Jerusalem municipality distributed free Christmas trees to Christians celebrating the holiday in the Holy City. Christian residents of Jerusalem lined up to receive their complimentary trees last week. The city also decorated Christian neighborhoods with lights and flags. Christians say that celebrating the holiday in the Holy Land is truly a unique experience. As always during this special season, we at Israel Now News would like to wish all of our Christian viewers a very Merry Christmas.
From Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. That concludes the news portion of our show. Stay tuned for Ask the Source with Josh Reinstein.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Source. I'm your host Josh Reinstein, and we're here on a beautiful sunny day in Jerusalem on our rooftop studio. My guest today is Joshua Waller. He is the Director of Operations for HaYovel. Joshua, thanks for being on the show.
Josh, good to be here.
Joshua, tell us a little about what is HaYovel.
HaYovel is a Christian organization dedicated to volunteer service in specifically Judea and Samaria, farming community there.
You know, it's amazing you've been able to bring hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Christians from all over the world to come and help in the farming community of Judea and Samaria. How have you been able to do that?
You know, it's been quite an amazing thing. From the beginning, it was just my family coming here, and over the years, we had no idea that it would be anything more than just my family, which is rather large to start with. I have 10 brothers and sisters, but just from the beginning, we started to invite friends, and then their friends and their friends, and it became hundreds of people.
Well, you know, Christians volunteering and helping the land of Israel is a phenomenon. We've seen this happening for the last, several decades. Why do you think so many Christians think it's important to come here and actually get involved with the state of Israel?
You know, I think a lot of Christians have different reasons for coming, but specifically with HaYovel, there's a specific call to be a part of the redemptive process of the physical land of Israel being restored. And that's the calling that people are finding specifically with HaYovel in passages like Jeremiah 31:5, Isaiah 61:5, talking about these people from the nations coming and joining in with the Jewish people in the physical land of Israel and seeing the vineyards coming back to life. Ezekiel 36, just prophecy after prophecy after prophecy, zoning in on these areas where Christians are feeling like, oh, that's me. And they're finding a huge purpose in joining in these specific things.
You know, recently, last month, there was an event with Hayavel and the Knesset Christian Allies Caucus at the Parliament of Israel, recognizing the contribution of Christian volunteers to the State of Israel. How important is it that the government of Israel is recognizing this as an important contribution?
For me, I was at just the point of tears the entire event. From a farmer that comes from a farming background, that's just what I do. We work in the fields. Even now, hundreds of volunteers are coming. I'm still working in the fields. I'm just bringing hundreds of people with me to do that. And to be recognized by the government of Israel. Yuli Edelstein was there. I was personally blown away at the respect I felt standing in the Knesset with these huge governing, members of Knesset and these men, and they're thanking me, just a simple farmer from Tennessee that's coming here to help. I was blown away, and I know the hundreds of volunteers that received that honor are completely blown away at this event as well.
Last month you released a video called I Am Israel. What was the message of that video?
The message of I Am Israel, we see so many people, they hear about Israel and the first thought they think is like a stabbing or a bombing somewhere, or they think some kind of craziness. And the reality, Israel is so far removed from that picture, you cannot imagine how far Israel is removed from that picture. And we wanted to portray something that I've seen for the last 14 years since I've been here, really almost growing up here, the life of the land of Israel. And the I Am Israel film that we produced is something that we wanted to portray the life. There's a lot of good stuff happening here, and people need to connect to it. And this is what we're trying to portray in the I Am Israel film.
Hey Joshua, the people who come here, the hundreds of people from around the world who volunteer, when they go back to their home countries, how do they affect the message of Israel?
That's one of our key things. People are coming to obviously get connected to the land of Israel. They're really digging their roots down, they're learning. But that's one of the main things that we're really raising up is ambassadors. Ambassadors to go back to the nations they come from. As of now, Hayavel has had 26, 27 different nations coming through, and these people are coming and they're getting hands-on really training from Israelis. They're getting a connect to the heart of the people as well as digging their hands into the soil. And they're getting connected, and they're going back to all these nations as full-on ambassadors with the message of really the truth of what's happening in the land of Israel.
The people say it's better to give than to receive. We're now in the Christmas holiday season. What is it a gift to come here and volunteer? I mean, it's a lot of hard work. What are people getting out of this? I
could say for myself, but I'd rather say it from the heart of the hundreds of volunteers that I've heard from. Many people come here and they think they're going to give something to the land of Israel. And I personally, out of the hundreds I've seen here and talked with, I've never heard one person say that they didn't feel like they received more from the land of Israel than they could ever possibly give in their time of service here.
Joshua, there are literally tens of millions of people watching the show. What message do you have for our viewing audience?
As a name like Joshua, I would say we need a generation to stand up. We need more Joshuas, we need more Calebs, people that are taking a little bit different lens than the rest of the world has got. And we need those to rise. Your name doesn't have to be Joshua, but you can certainly stand in the place of a Joshua and Caleb in this generation. That's what my encouragement and last remark would be. Stand up and start acting like a Joshua and Caleb in this generation. We need you.
Thank you, Joshua, for being on the show. And thank you for tuning in to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein, wishing you all a Merry Christmas. Now back to the studio.
Up next, the return to Zion with Karen Hayesod.
Shalom and welcome to the Return to Zion with Karen Hayesod United Israel Appeal. I'm Eliezer Moody Sandberg, World Chairman of Karen Hayesod, the leading official fundraising organization for the State of Israel. After 2,000 years, we found the descendants of the lost tribe of Dan. Please help us welcome our brothers and sisters back home. God bless you from Jerusalem.
In that day, the Lord will reach out his hand to reclaim the surviving remnant of his people from Assyria, from Egypt, from Cush, from Elam, from Babylonia, from Hamath, and from the islands of the Mediterranean. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11. Through their deep faith, Roy and Yuklin Chen, a devout Bible-believing Christian couple from Hong Kong, received a sign from heaven revealing their personal mission in life to help realize God's promise to return the exiled people of Israel back to their ancestral homeland. 1 year after the historic and inspirational journey to Ethiopia, Roy and Yuklin Chen have witnessed the prophetic vision gathering momentum through the continuation of the Ethiopian Jewish community's Aliyah to Israel. Within the last year alone, some 1,400 Ethiopians have returned to Israel through the assistance of Keren Hayesod, but many more have yet to complete their journey.
To have the whole prophecy being lived out right before us was simply overwhelming. Not only was it difficult to see the people in the camps waiting to go back to Israel, but when Father God gave us a message to share with them, which was simply that Abba, Father, has not forgotten them, that every one of them will be brought back to their homeland. And to use a couple that's living on the other side of the world, doesn't even know where Cush is or what Cush is, that's the length that Father will go to reach his children.
Roy and Yuklin came to Bangkok to an event hosted by the Friends of Israel of Keren Hayesod. They were joined by 1,500 Christian worshipers who gathered to help the fulfillment of the biblical prophecy come true.
Now Israel is 70 years old. It is time that we bring Israel home so that we can join to our brothers and be one new man.
We believe it is our privilege, each and every one of us, the Gentiles, to rally around our brothers and sisters in Israel and to take part in what the Lord has already set in motion.
Roy and Yuklin know that their mission has only just begun and are committed to making sure that all the remaining Ethiopian Jews are brought home to Israel.
The biggest blessing is not that, oh, if I give, then I will get financial reward. The biggest blessing is to know that your God is real and He keeps every one of His promises. And every promise that is made to you is going to happen because He answered the prayers of His people and they are coming home, and you can be a part of it.
He will raise a banner from the nations and gather the exiles of Israel. He will assemble the scattered people of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Isaiah chapter 11, verse 12.
Together we will bring all our brothers and sisters back to Jerusalem.
Now is the time to act. There is still so much more we can do. Join the Chens and Keren Hayesod in this fulfillment of the biblical prophecy.
Come join Keren Hayesod in fulfilling biblical prophecy. Let's bless Israel together.
To donate and get information, call us at 1-800-505-1665 or visit our website at www.khisrael.org.
I never imagined I'd say this, but I think Iran's hostility to Israel can be summed up by the experience of a single Iranian wrestler named Ali Reza. A few days ago, Ali Reza was about to beat a Russian wrestler in a world championship, and then his coach ordered him to lose the match. The reason? Because in the next round, Ali Reza would have had to face an Israeli wrestler. You see, Iran forbids its athletes from competing against Israelis. Now, that's not surprising, given that the regime in Tehran calls for the destruction of all Israelis, the destruction of Israel. Now, that's not going to happen, I assure you. We won't let that happen. But in the meantime, it's the people of Iran who pay the price. When his coach told Ali Reza to throw the match, he said his whole world seemed to come to an end. Just imagine a government forbidding its athletes from competing against blacks, gays, or Arabs. Close your eyes and think about Ali Reza for a moment. He trained countless hours. He dreamed of becoming a world champion. But the Iranian regime would rather see its athletes lose than compete against Israelis. So I have an idea. This is an idea that will honor and inspire future Ali Rezas by promoting exactly the kind of coexistence and tolerance that Iran tries so hard to stamp out. I want you to film yourself playing a sport against someone of a different nationality, a different faith, or different color. I want you to compete like hell. We're all for competition. Then I want you to shake hands, go out for a drink together, and then upload this to the social media. I want you to show Iran's regime that hating others will never make you a champion. It only makes you a pathetic and insecure loser. Winners aren't afraid to show tolerance and respect. Ali Reza, I want you to know that the tyrants who made you take a fall will fall themselves. A regime that crushes the creative and competitive spirits of its people, that regime is doomed. So are those who threaten to destroy the Jewish state. They'll go down for the count.
Lift up your eyes and look around. All your children gather and come to you. The biblical prophecy is unfolding right before our very eyes. The people of Israel are returning to the Promised Land after 2,000 years of exile. But millions of Jews are still longing to come home. Anti-Semitism threatens many of the Jews. We must rescue them before the window of opportunity slams shut. Bless Israel by supporting Keren HaYesod United Israel Appeal, the leading official fundraising organization for the State of Israel. Together, we can fulfill the prophecy of the Bible.
Let us bless Israel together.
To donate and get information, call us at 1-800-505-1665 or visit our website at www.khisrael.org.
Please stay tuned for the ICEJ report from the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem.
Jerusalem, the center of the Middle East, the center of the world, the city of God, and right here almost 40 years ago, led by the Holy Spirit, Christian leaders from around the world established the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem, to demonstrate to the Jewish people that they are not alone, but that millions of Bible-believing Christians are standing with them, still believing in God's ancient covenant promises that He made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Today, the Christian Embassy has become an active voice of support to the Jewish people. Over the next few minutes, you will meet our team, and more importantly, you will meet those people who we could bless here in the land of Israel. It is such an exciting time to be your embassy, your voice here in the land of Israel. Take a look.
It is God's design to make Israel a light unto the nations. We at the ICJ are passionate about Israel and about her relationship with the world. This is why we have celebrated the Feast of Tabernacles in Jerusalem since 1980. We have now branches in more than 90 countries all over the world, and we connect believers from more than 170 nations with Israel. The plan of God for Israel also includes the plan for all the nations. This is why we are so excited.
My name is Emma Villarreal. I represent the country of Mexico. Zechariah 14 talks about how all the nations of the world are going to come together to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles. And we don't want to wait into the new Jerusalem for that to happen. We want as heaven as it is on earth, so we're starting right now.
Through the love and financial support of Christians like you, elderly Holocaust survivors are being taken care of. But this home is not just buildings. It's a loving community where we as ICJ have become as some residents would say, the family they once lost. What an awesome privilege. And with the ongoing expansion and the new developments, we are excited about the future of this ICEJ home for Holocaust survivors.
ואני מודה מכל הלב באמת לשגרירות מה שהם עושים בשבילנו. שאחרי מה שאנחנו עברנו יש דבר כזה ואני מלא תודה.
Because of your partnership, we've been able to dramatically impact Israeli lives. Your giving has played an active role in transforming not only individual lives, but it also impacts the future of Israel. Through our work here in Israel, we've been able to provide comfort and be a voice of hope and reconciliation for the many people groups in this land.
המלגה שקיבלתי מהשגרירות הנוצרית ומזה שהבנתי שאנשים מסביב לעולם פשוט מאמינים בי ותומכים בי, אני יודעת שאשיג את החלום שלי.
ICEJ continues working to bring God's people home from the four corners of the earth. Because of your faithful giving, we have been able to welcome Jewish people to their biblical homeland of Israel through sponsoring flights, transportation assistance, and helping immigrants start a new life. It has been a privilege for the ICEJ to help fulfill the lifelong dreams of so many who have waited so long to return home, to reunite them with their families, and to be a part of their new beginning.
The Christian Embassy, Jerusalem, has been our friend for many, many years. Their donations and their help make days like today possible. Christians around the world, they are our best friends.
እና የበለጠ ደግሞ ለነሱ ምስጋና እናቀርብ እኛ ምንም ማለት አንችልም። ውለታቸውን እግዚአብሔር ይክፈለው እና ደግሞ በዚህ እንዳያቆሙ እግዚአብሔር ይስጥልን። ውለታቸውን እግዚአብሔር ይክፈለው።
It is so exciting to see God rebuilding Zion, to see Him restoring His people back to their land. No matter where you live, you too can participate in what God is doing here in the land of Israel. Jesus said, "Whatever you have done to the least of my brethren, you have done to me." Today, you can show the love of Christ to His people. Let us be your embassy, your voice here in Jerusalem. And if you haven't yet partnered with us, go to icej.org/partnership and join us today.
That's going to do it for this edition of Israel Now News. I'm Yochanan El-Rom.
And I'm Erin Viner reporting from our studio in Jerusalem. Please join us again next week for all of your Israel updates.